This big ugly turd is coming out tonight. Super frustrating to work on. I've got more cuts and bruises that I want to show you. Everything on this car is terribly hard to get at. Anybody that owns one will know exactly what I'm talking about. I'll bring the camera down so you can have a look. Probably the worst car I've ever had to dismantle or take the motor out of. Saying that, when we put that little 5-liter Ford back in there, it should be a real treat. All right, so my backhoe's outside. It's fired up, it's warming up. That's gonna be the shop crane. We're gonna back it in, hook onto it, and yard it out. Let's get at it. Okay, so I thought I'd show you guys a close-up of what this monster looks like, or the big turd, we'll call it. It's probably, it was probably a cool engine, in some ways, but in other ways, it's so complex. If something fails, it's gonna cost me more money than I'm willing to spend on it, and it's super hard to work on. Anyone that has one of these, kudos to you guys for keeping it running. Your knuckles must be sore. I know mine are. This is probably the worst car I've ever had to remove an engine out of. Like, just food for thought, for people buying one of these. Just have a look and, look at where the alternator is. Can you see it? No, you probably can't, because it's behind the fan, up underneath. And I was looking at it, just as a driver standpoint. If you were driving this car and the dang alternator quit, you're not going to work in the morning. That's a huge job just to get at something like that. And I just, I don't want to deal with that. I'm a Ford guy anyway, so we're gonna put a little blue blood under the hood. But I just wanted to show you kind of what we're looking at. I didn't bother doing a lot of filming, taking the engine out. It was just me cursing and swearing a little bit because my knuckles are sore from pinched hands and cuts and bruises. All right, so when we get that 5-liter in, it'll be kind of neat to see the extra room. But for now, I'm gonna go get the backhoe. We're gonna open the garage door, gonna back it in and hook it up. All right, check that out. The engine's out, so you can use a backhoe. A backhoe will work. No, it's not the proper tool. And, I wouldn't really recommend it for, most people. But, hey, that's what I had to use, so that's what I used. If my buddy's watching that is getting this engine, your damn engine's out. It's a little bit of a frustrating critter to get out of the car. And if you look at the actual engine, the engine's actually not very big. It's just all the stuff on it. So for him, when he takes this engine and puts it in a roadster, and he puts a couple carburetors on it and gets rid of all that unnecessary, unwanted turd-tree, I think it's gonna clean up pretty good, and it's gonna be a pretty cool little piece. So maybe someday we'll have a look at that. As far as my car, as you can clearly see, there's going to be lots of room for a small block Ford in there. I was talking to another buddy of mine, and he mentioned, probably the best way to remove the engine would be to take the subframe out and take it out to the bottom. And he's 100% correct. It definitely would have been a hell of a lot easier. Lift the car up over the engine. A hoist would be great. But, I didn't have any of those things, so this is what I dealt with. And it did work. It was very frustrating, but we got her. So, as you can see, my garage is a disaster. I got car parts, I've picked up a bunch of garbage, and I had a few other jobs in here as well. That's why I was kind of lacking on the videos for a little bit, but I upset a little bit of oil. That didn't that didn't help. So I got a lot of cleanup to do. Once I get everything cleaned up and I get rid of this engine, get it out of my way, we're going to look at the car again, and we're going to decide, where to cut it and where to stretch it. So stick with me, and thanks a lot for watching, and if you're new to the channel, stick around. It's going to be a lot of fun.